James was at lunch with two coworkers last month when the conversation drifted to car payments, the way it always seems to eventually. One coworker drives a recent model BMW and pays $560 monthly. James drives a 2021 Honda Civic and pays the exact same amount. For a moment, the BMW driver looked genuinely surprised, then slightly deflated, as if the comparison had quietly cost him something. It had. James's loan term was 3 years shorter. He would own his car outright while his coworker was still making payments. The identical monthly number was hiding two completely different financial situations. This is the trap most car buyers fall into without realizing it. The monthly payment feels like the relevant number, when the real questions are what the car actually costs, how long you're financing it, and whether either number makes sense relative to what you earn. This video breaks down exactly how much car is reasonable to buy at 3 different income levels, and the specific rules that keep the decision grounded in math rather than social pressure. The average car loan term in the United States now stretches past 5.5 years, and lower credit scores correlate strongly with even longer terms. This is not an accident of consumer preference. Extending the loan term is the most reliable way to make an unaffordable car feel affordable, because it shrinks the monthly payment without changing the total price or the total interest paid. A car that costs $550 monthly on a 4-year loan and a car that costs $550 monthly on a 7-year loan are not equivalent purchases. The second one typically represents a significantly more expensive vehicle, financed at a higher total interest cost, with a much longer period of negative equity, owing more than the car is worth, before the buyer actually owns anything. Understanding this distinction is the foundation for every rule that follows. Rule 1. The purchase price should not exceed 25% of annual income. A commonly cited guideline suggests spending up to 35% of annual income on a vehicle purchase price. That figure is aggressive, appropriate mainly for genuine car enthusiasts willing to prioritize their vehicle over other financial goals. A more balanced target is 25%. At that level, you can still access reasonable comfort and reliability features without consuming a disproportionate share of your income on a depreciating asset. For someone earning $40,000 annually, this caps the purchase price around $10,000. At $80,000, the cap rises to $20,000. At $150,000, roughly $37,500. These numbers will feel restrictive to many people accustomed to current market prices, which says more about how far vehicle prices have drifted from typical incomes than about the reasonableness of the guideline itself. Rule 2. The 24-10 framework for financing. Beyond the purchase price itself, a widely used framework addresses how the purchase should actually be financed. The first number is 20, a minimum 20% down payment. This matters because vehicles depreciate immediately and substantially, often 20% or more in the first year alone. Without a meaningful down payment, a buyer can easily owe more than the car is worth almost immediately after purchase, a position that creates serious complications if the vehicle needs to be sold or traded before the loan is paid down. The second number is 4, a maximum loan term of 4 years. Shorter terms keep total interest paid significantly lower and ensure the loan is paid off while the vehicle still holds meaningful value, rather than dragging across years when the car has already depreciated well below the remaining balance. The difference between a 4-year and 6-year loan on a comparable vehicle commonly exceeds $1,000 in additional interest paid, money handed to the lender for no benefit beyond a smaller number. The third number is 10. Total monthly vehicle costs, payment, insurance, and maintenance combined, excluding fuel, should stay under 10% of gross monthly income. A simple shortcut: divide annual salary by 120 to estimate the maximum reasonable monthly vehicle budget. At $40,000 annually, that ceiling is approximately $330 monthly. At $80,000, around $660. At $150,000, approximately $1,250. Just because a budget technically allows for the maximum does not mean spending up to that ceiling is wise. Every dollar directed toward vehicle costs is a dollar not available for investing, saving, or building toward other goals. And vehicles are reliably depreciating assets, working against wealth accumulation rather than for it. Why the same monthly payment can mean completely different things. This returns to James's lunch conversation. Two people can arrive at an identical monthly payment, while one is financing a far more expensive vehicle over a longer term, and the other is paying off a modest, reliable car on a shorter timeline. The monthly number alone tells you almost nothing about the underlying financial position. Social pressure plays a significant role here. Status-conscious buyers frequently stretch loan terms specifically to access vehicles that exceed what a shorter, more disciplined loan would support, essentially trading long-term financial position for short-term appearance. Recognizing this dynamic is often the difference between making a deliberate financial decision and unconsciously matching whatever the dealer's monthly payment calculator made feel comfortable. Buying versus leasing. For people who want a new vehicle every 3 to 4 years, or who prioritize predictable lower payments, leasing can be a reasonable choice. Leases typically require minimal or no down payment, include manufacturer warranty coverage for the lease term, and for business owners may offer tax deductibility advantages. The trade-offs include mileage restrictions with penalties for exceeding them, no equity building during the lease term, and the requirement either to return the vehicle or purchase it outright at lease end. For most people planning to keep a vehicle long-term, purchasing tends to be the more cost-effective path over a full ownership cycle. Cash versus financing. The opportunity cost question. For buyers who do choose to purchase, the question of cash versus financing deserves honest treatment. Paying entirely in cash offers genuine peace of mind and eliminates interest costs entirely. For people who are not actively investing the difference, this can be a perfectly reasonable choice. Uninvested cash earning minimal interest is not meaningfully better deployed sitting in a bank account than spent avoiding loan interest on a vehicle purchase. However, for someone who is actively investing, financing at a reasonable rate while investing the cash that would have gone toward a full purchase often produces a better long-term outcome. $20,000 that would have funded a cash purchase invested instead in a diversified index fund at historical average returns grows to roughly $31,000 over 5 years, and well beyond $200,000 over 30 years. The opportunity cost of tying up that capital in a depreciating vehicle rather than letting it compound is substantial when measured across a full investing horizon. Neither approach is universally correct. The right choice depends on whether the alternative use of that cash is genuinely productive or whether it would otherwise sit idle. 3 practical ways to save. Shop insurance annually across multiple providers. Switching carriers commonly saves meaningful money monthly for comparable coverage, and most insurers compete actively for new customers. Buy used vehicles in the 3 to 5 year range. Most of the steepest depreciation has already occurred by that point, while the vehicle remains mechanically reliable for years of continued use. Research total cost of ownership before purchase, not just sticker price. Comparable vehicles can carry dramatically different insurance, maintenance, and repair costs over a 5-year ownership period, sometimes differing by tens of thousands of dollars despite similar purchase prices. Current average new vehicle prices run through even the more aggressive 35% guideline, imply a household income well above what most American households actually earn. The data is consistent. A large share of car buyers are financing vehicles that exceed what their income comfortably supports, extended across loan terms specifically designed to obscure that fact behind a manageable-looking monthly number. James's Civic and his co-worker's BMW cost the same amount each. They were never the same financial decision. Knowing the difference and choosing the vehicle that fits your actual numbers rather than the payment that feels comfortable on paper is worth more over a lifetime of car purchases than almost any other single financial habit. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe to James Invest for more content like this.